So by now you've probably heard about Pete Davidson versus Peta, and you're probably wondering, what is all the fuss about? Well, we're going to kind of set it straight and give you the dog nerd take on today's show.
Yes, but before we start, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and thank you for all your comments.
Awesome. Yes. So, okay, the Pete Davidson thing happened while I was on vacation with my mom. And at first I thought Peta was just mad that Pete decided to buy a dog versus adopting a dog. And then it wasn't until I got back, because, I was on vacation at the beach. I was not watching news or anything. I realized that he purchased said puppy from a pet store. So any listeners of our show know that that's probably the last place we want you to get a dog, that or just from some random person online, which is probably also from a puppy mill. So there's a lot to unpack here. First and foremost, I think we want to extend our condolences to Pete and his family for the loss of their dog that was just 2 years old. I've lost a dog at 3 years old. I've lost a dog at 17 and a half and 15 years old. It's never easy.
No.
But when it's surprising like that and a young dog, it is very sad. So
yeah, there's absolutely the reason for Pete getting the dog from his heart is different than what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So Pete left a saucy voicemail, and we'll play a clip of it here.
Thank you so much for making comments publicly that I didn't adopt a dog. I just want to let you know I'm severely allergic to dogs, so I have to get a specific breed. I'm only not allergic to Cavapoos and those type of dogs. And my mom's dog, who's 2 years old, died a week prior, and we're all so sad, so I had to get a specific dog. So why don't you do your research before you create news stories for people, because you're a boring, tired...
And he was fired up because he was doing something nice for his family. He said he hadn't seen his mom and his sister cry like that in like 20 years. So he was doing what he thought was best for his family. What Pete didn't know, and what a lot of people don't know, is that most puppies from pet stores come from puppy mills. So their parents are subjected to a life of misery, living inside cages, never seeing the light of day often, never touching the grass, never running free. They're often living in their own filth. They get very, very minimal veterinary care. And this goes for some pet stores, and it goes for like online, somebody gets a slick website and they're going to ship you a dog.
Yeah, some of these slicker breeders where you go on and they've got like these fancy websites, and they always seem to have dogs.
Yeah, always available.
Yeah, that's a red flag right there.
Stop and think about that for a minute. If a breeder always has puppies available, okay, how many heat cycles does a dog have? Generally 2 a year. Mm-hmm. But they're breeding and breeding and breeding. They've got lots of dogs. I mean, there's a lot. And just because you have a cycle doesn't mean you should breed, right? I mean, we don't do that. So no. Think about these things. We want to approach all of this with a education mind first, judgment mind last, because people just don't know what they don't know,
Yeah, I think this is just an example of Pete being a little ignorant to what, and that's not a bad word, by the way, ignorant. Just being a little ignorant to where he was shopping and what he was buying, and if he had it to do over again, I guarantee you he probably wouldn't.
So here's the thing. So Pete says he suffers from allergies pretty bad, especially when it comes to dogs. And the only breed he knows that he is not allergic to is a Cavapoo. So points for Pete there, because you should never get a dog thinking that, oh, maybe this one is different. Then you're really sick all the time, and then you have to give the dog back, and that causes an upheaval in the dog's life. It causes them to feel unsure and uncertain. So at least he knew that. We do want to bust the myth, because I've seen lots of videos that talk about this, and they say Pete needed a hypoallergenic dog. Remember, we did a video on this recently. There is no such thing as a hypoallergenic dog breed. Some breeds are less allergenic than others. Poodles are one of those breeds. So seeing that this was a Cavalier Poodle mix, it probably is okay for his allergies. So we got to bust that myth. No dog is purely hypoallergenic, but there are breeds that are less hypoallergenic. So there's that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Then we have the aspect that Pete said later, after a cooling off period, he said that he did not know that he could adopt a hypoallergenic dog, and was told that, quote, it wasn't an option, and if it was rare. So we are here to bust another myth for you. Sadly, because doodles and poodle mixes have become so popular, there are so many ending up in rescue. I see it every day. If you want to go check out Releash Atlanta, they're a local rescue group here, and they have poodles and poodle mixes. So you can absolutely get those. The other thing is we have a much less common breed, which is a Border Terrier. And I thought it would be very difficult to rescue one, which we were able to do.
We were able to, from, might I add, a puppy mill.
Exactly. Something I never thought I would see in my lifetime because the breed is just not popular.
Here in the United States.
Here in the U.S.
Overseas, it's a little more popular.
In England, unfortunately, that is more common.
Yeah.
So we just want you guys to know that, I'm glad this happened. I'm not glad for the stress that it caused everybody involved, but I'm glad this happened because we're talking about it, and we can tell you, don't go to a pet store. Look, if you can rescue. Look for breed-specific rescues. So I want to tell you this. In the United States, any of the major breeds, so poodles, Labradors, Goldens,
Frenchies.
Yeah, they all have rescue arms because they either get dogs that have come back from, maybe they were pet store dogs, maybe they were kind of backyard breeder dogs,
or people during the pandemic needed a friend and they bought a dog. That's a big problem too, and we've done a video on that too, where people during the pandemic they bought a dog and then they had to return it.
Yeah, and then you also have breeders who they've adopted out a dog to a family, and then something happens in that family and they can't.
Yeah.
They can't keep the dog, so then they'll rehome. Anyway, every major breed group, at least in the United States, has a rescue arm. So you can get any breed from rescue. You might have to wait. You might not be able to go pick up the dog and, today because you want it today. And we would say that's a good thing.
Yeah. The world is not Amazon, folks, unfortunately. So
not when it comes to living beings and, that have, yeah. So the other thing we want to mention is that petfinder.com is a website that rescue groups use to advertise dogs that are up for adoption. You can search by breed, you could search by gender, you could search by age. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. And that's where we found Dansby, right?
Yep. That's where we found Dansby. So, and then the final thing is, I know Peta was hammering home, adopt, don't shop. And I understand that, but we are realistic and we know that people are going to want to get puppies, right? So where do you go?
You go to a heritage breeder. So you do your homework. You ask around. You want to go to a breeder that probably doesn't have a slick website. It looks like a website from 1992, and they have
Alta Vista.
Yeah, and they have policies in place that says, hey, look, at any time during this dog's lifetime that you can't take care of the dog or you don't want the dog, we'll take it back, no questions asked. You're looking for that type of breeder. That is a breeder that's not a backyard breeder, that's not selling to large corporations like
or just anybody.
Yeah. And they're not selling to pet stores. They love their dogs. They love the breed. They do it to keep the breed standards alive. You can go and you can see the mom, possibly the dad, and you can
living conditions.
Yeah, they will tell you the whole lineage of that dog from conception of the grandparents of that dog. So
they will become your friend. You know, like if they are a good heritage breeder, they're going to become your friend. They're going to guide you. You can call them if you need anything.
Yeah.
So there are, we know we're going to get a lot of people that we understand the rescue heart. We just are trying to be realistic that not everybody is going to rescue. Some people want that puppy. Yes, you can rescue puppies. You can rescue certain breeds of puppies, but we just know that not everybody is going to do that. And just like Michael said, if you go the heritage breeder route, you are going to have to be patient. You are going to want to get references. You're going to need to be vetted. So it's not something where you can just,
it's a wait list typically, and they don't always have puppies available.
No.
And so
they may turn you down based on
they may be like, you don't fit. You don't have this is a dog that needs a lot of space to run, or this is a dog that needs more attention. You have a 10-hour a day job. There's those sort of things where that breeder is actually looking out for what they would consider one of their grandbabies that you're going to be taking.
Yeah, so they're going to want that home to be forever. So there's a lot of moving parts. I think Michael told me one time, he said, you're so passionate about this, and I am very passionate about puppy mills. It's one of my big issues. He said, you have to understand not everybody is passionate about it. Not everybody knows about it.
Or is educated about it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're here to hopefully do.
Exactly. So we think that's what happened with Pete. He didn't know what he didn't know. He thought he was doing a good thing. And I'm sure he was shocked at the response. So hopefully Pete will use his platform to educate people about the places that you can go to get a dog, even if you're getting a specific breed. And that, it's not so rare to be able to adopt a certain breed of dog.
And then also I want to say, hey, I don't know that Pete will ever see this video, but our wishes are that his old dog by the name's Rodney Dangerfield, which I think is awesome because one of my favorite comedians.
Said they were going to put a red tie on it. So
we want him to be healthy, happy, and so there's no malice toward the dog. Obviously the dog had no say in it. So best wishes. I think Rodney is hopefully going to live a long, happy life, and that probably hit the jackpot right there, so hopefully that's the case.
Yeah. But let's spread the word, guys. Pet stores are not the place to buy anything, even a toy or a bag of food for your dog.
Yeah.
We don't want to support puppy farms and cruelty to animals. So let us know in the comments your opinions. We love getting them. And until next time, bye.
Bye.